You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh,
you know what time it is. Roll with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. Buckeyes by a billion. We in the building with over 100,000. We represent from the uttermost to the public housing. If we don't play, our wide receivers got your secondary shook, so they cook them like Bobby Flay. Hey, stay out of my way and trust me, cause I know it's OH. Somebody please give this brother an eye. Come on.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk college football with real fans. Excited to be here again tonight. Blessed, man. Glad to see everybody in the chat. Saw y'all in B. Moses and Nevada's show earlier. Heck of a show. Was chatting it up with a few of you guys. Decided to jump on here. Not doing much on the Friday night. Me and Tank got the house to ourselves for the next couple weeks. So we went on a long hike today, man. Kicked back, chilled. So kind of a chill day, but got some big news on the Michigan front. Hired a new coach. Also, a star, their number one wide receiver in the 26 class, leaving one of their star recruits, and rumor on a couple more big-time players leaving Michigan. So not a long show plan, but did want to get on here and give my opinion on the hire. But before we do that, guys, hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button as well. Both channels, don't forget that, on Buckeye Boys with a Z and Buckeye Scoop as well. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, hit the like, subscribe button, and go check out the Scoop message board. Super chats, as always, go to the Pay It Forward on my channel. They go to help out Teen Challenge and homeless vets. On the Buckeye Scoop channel, they go to help our veterans out. So appreciate you guys for being here. Matthew, C-Dub, what up? The Natural, Mark, Steely, good to see y'all. But obviously, we all know the backstory to the Michigan coaching search, what has been going on there and all those things. And it's been kind of a dramatic time here as they're looking for a coach, because it's not only did all the you guys got to forgive me. Tank is playing with the ball right now, bouncing everywhere. I've got to exit the screen and stop her. She's driving me nuts. Okay, I'm very sorry for that. Very sorry for that. I got the culprit. It's a hollow ball, and she keeps bouncing it off the walls and everything. You're driving me nuts, girl. Sorry. But so not only all that negative publicity coming out of there kind of put their recruiting class in danger. You saw a couple of their recruits leave already, but it put their current roster in danger as well. I mean, we all heard Biff Poggi get on that Texas and talk about possibly 25 players not playing in the bowl game, right? And you kind of can't blame him. You can't blame him, because this is the time when they're supposed to be negotiating for next year to current players. Hey, what are we going to pay you to come back? But they've been in a dilemma, because if you don't have a head coach, you can't do that. And the other dilemma not getting talked about much is, hey, do we have enough of our donors and our supporters on board with our plan to even make offers right now? We don't know how much money is going to be there. But they went out today. They made their hire, Kyle Whittingham, the Urban Meyer coaching tree. Coached with Urban Meyer at Utah 2003, 2004 as the defensive coordinator. Went 22-2 as a defensive coordinator with Urban Meyer at Utah, and then took over as the head coach once he left. Hold on, I had some stuff written down here. Was 11-6 in bowl games, 177-88 in his career. Won the Mountain West, won the Pac-12 twice, won Coach of the Year twice, and 11 of his seasons were 9-win seasons or more. So, at Utah, kept things at the straight and narrow for the most part. Not a coach that really was consistent in keeping them in talks of a national title every year and all those things. But honestly, man, 66 years old, doesn't really put up with a bunch of crap, more of a defensive minded type of guy. I put on Twitter, I gave this a 6.5 out of 10 higher. And in the realm, what do we always say, guys? We said, hey, right, Michigan's not going to change anything until they change their philosophy. Their philosophy is win at all costs, win no matter what, even if it hurts the current players. You're not going to convince me otherwise. I'm totally sold on that. With this hire, it looks like they may have put the kids first here, because in terms of hiring a coach to turn the program around, to make it about the kids, make it about the players, and not put up with bullcrap, I think this was a good hire in that regard. So for that, I'm happy. For that, I'm happy for the young kids that are going to come into that college program, right, and not be surrounded by this kind of disaster and just craziness going on. Like, I don't care who you play for when you're a kid going into your college career. You don't deserve any of that stuff. Now, mind you, some of the players and families that signed there knew what they were getting themselves into. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about minus the rival and the football side of it. I think this was a good hire in terms of that, okay? But unfortunately, man, I'm still not sold that they're bought in on that. I'm just not. Them keeping their AD around for now, this starts at the top. Buckeye fan 1959, they're a terrible program. Yeah, they are, right? But right, this is a step in the direction that I think they need to go. I think Kyle Whittingham is a good coach. What was my prediction this whole time? Right, I said they would if they make a splash hire, if the hire they makes a splash at all, it's going to be on somebody that was on their way out. Right, no coach that is in the middle of growing their career is going to go to the Michigan establishment no matter what, right? No matter what you tell me, the money, all that, all these coaches they said they were in on, they never stood a chance. Kalen DeBoer, Kelly Dillingham never stood a chance, man. And that's what they did, right? I wouldn't call this a splash hire. You know what I mean? I would consider, Kyle a top 25 coach, right, in the nation. Utah probably a top 25 program. But he's been there for a long time. He's 66 years old. And when I know this Michigan and Michigan fan base, the number one thing they're going to want to do, beat Ohio State, compete for national titles. Do I think Kyle is going to be able to get that done? I don't. No, I don't. You guys just heard, right, what Nevada reported. I suspected something like that because everybody was reporting that Kyle, Whittingham was leaving, retiring. The game was the first announcement that came out. And then he said, no, he's just stepping down, just kind of worn out his welcome, doesn't want to leave in a bad way. And right, he's a great coach, great dude, all those things. But there was something about that, Nevada reporting that he's hearing that, hey, Utah wanted more, right? He was kind of dropping the ball. He's been at this for so long, man, at the same place. Probably kind of got worn down a little bit, and it took a toll on his coaching and his development and all those things. But, this coaching hire, as I brought up first, they got to deal with the roster, man. They got to deal with their recruiting class. And that's one of the main reasons they wanted to get a coach so fast. They told recruits it'd be done before Christmas. That didn't happen. You saw some recruits leave. And the new hire made today. And instantly you saw their number one wide receiver, according to ESPN, a top 60 recruit in the nation, former Georgia commit Brady McCheese. Is that his name? Yeah, decommitted. Okay, so that's just in the realm of right, the recruiting class, because when you bring in a new head coach like this, he's going to have to completely revamp the entire program. Okay, so the kids that signed at Michigan, they signed to a certain coach, a certain scheme, a certain philosophy, and you're bringing in, right, a different coach, right? Sharon Moore, offensive line coach, I keep getting Dillingham and Willingham, whatever, man. Those two names are in my mind and keep screwing me up. Call him Kyle. Kyle, defensive-minded coach, kind of gets people get the impression more of a, lineman running the ball type of coach, which fits that style. So recruits are going to have to make their decision. They're in the middle of trying to retain some of their old coaches. I know that an article came out from a Michigan insider, which probably shouldn't even read those. Probably should make some calls myself or call Nevada and ask him, hey, who they're going to hire as offensive coordinator, because Michigan insiders, they don't know nothing. But, trying to keep a hold of Tony Alfrod, right? The only reason they would do that is to keep Savion Hyder in their class. But you got players like Carter Meadows as well in their class. All these guys have a decision to make now, right? Michigan this entire time has kept the kids that are still there are there because they're listening to Michigan say, hey, let us make this hire. We promise we're going to knock it out of the park. And some of these players and some of these, recruits might not feel like they knocked it out of the park with this hire. That's just the truth of the matter. Not that big time splash hire, not a coach that Ohio State's going to go after, or an Alabama or a Georgia or anything like that. And that's the way they present themselves to recruits. That's the way they talk, the Michigan men, right? Which is unfortunate that, right? It's just unfortunate for you guys that you follow who you follow with, Dave Portnoy and all those other gooners that you follow around, man. I don't understand it. He put out a statement today and it was just wild. He said, man, Michigan is such a good program. They didn't want to go hurt another program by taking an active coach. They went and found one that was no longer a coach, so they didn't disturb another program. I'm going to be honest with you. Like the social media, the clicks, that aspect of Dave Portnoy, he's very good at what he does. Very good at being the troll, at knowing exactly what to say to know exactly how to twist it, know exactly. He does that stuff on purpose, guys. Dave Portnoy does not really believe these things. But the sad part about it is most of their fan base buys into his troll act, and they're not trolling. They buy into it. They buy into it like, oh, wow, look how considerate Michigan is going out and getting a coach that was, not on a coaching staff, so they didn't take one away from other players and another program and all that stuff. It's wild. Michigan fans, you guys got to pick somebody else to listen to, man. He's making you delusional. And that's his play, and it works, bro. He's as a thriving business and is good at the clicks and stuff, but it is not good for college football. It is not good for the college atmosphere. Dave Portnoy is not a positive influence on this game, not a positive influence on fans or players either. It's wild, but there's a lot of things in this world that we can't do anything about. But, so overall, good coach, good hire. I don't think it's going to change much is the trajectory of them being in the playoffs or not. I don't expect him to come in because in the recruiting standpoint now moving forward, right, you're really going to try to convince guys that a 66-year-old coach that already left one school for early retirement and then changed it to, hey, I just stepped down, is going to be around for a long time. I don't know, but I think this is a temporary hire. And as a result, I think you're going to see, right, other players currently on this roster leave. And I'm telling you guys right now, listen, I had a conversation. I know we all like to troll about Bryce Underwood leaving, and I think Nevada said it perfectly. He said, man, I don't really want him to leave. I don't care if he leaves, and me neither from a football standpoint. He does not like scare me. I'm not like, man, I don't want him to be there because he's a really good quarterback. It's mainly I don't want him there just to watch the Michigan fan base scatter and just absolutely lose it. And I think there's a chance that happens. I think there is a chance that happens, man. Bryce Underwood, severely underdeveloped at Michigan. There's that interview that he did talking about the developmental aspect of LSU. That's why he went there, and then got asked about Michigan and was silent, trolled them. But they threw so much money in front of his face that, they didn't. That's what he picked. He chose the money. And again, to each their own. Y'all do your things. But it's being reported there's no buyout on his nil contract either, right? So they started to put those in so players don't just leave so fast, man. So there are teams out there still interested in Bryce Underwood. Bryce Underwood right now is thinking about, hey, do I take a pay cut, right, to go actually get developed and make a future of myself? Because what's going on at Michigan right now, and even this new coaching hire they made, yeah, he can bring in another, quarterback developer, but this would not build my confidence as a quarterback after having him come in. You already saw a wide receiver leave. He saw a former defensive coordinator come in, knows the style of play he had at Utah. That kind of got changed a little bit this year, but right, the foundation of how he plays is not too friendly to quarterbacks or wide receivers, hence the Cam Rising stuff, how all that was handled, not too well. So we'll see, man, right? I got a text that said, keep a close eye on this. They're obviously going to keep it under the wraps as much as possible because the other aspect of this I brought up earlier, guys, is, hey, are all the donors going to be happy with this hire, right? Are they going to report they are? 100%. The boards, all the insiders are going to report everybody's on board. Oh my gosh, we got a new nil bag. Oh my gosh, this is wild. We're about to take over college football. That's not the truth. There are a lot of donors not happy with this, and they already have a big payroll to keep up with the payroll, along with their $30 million NCAA fine, along with all these other lawsuits that are going to be coming out. I think the cash cow's drying up over there. So keep an eye on that. We'll see how that goes. We'll see if they can even keep paying these guys what they've been paying them. So Bryce Underwood, keep an eye there, man. We've always said it. That's the problem about when you take recruits that come for the money, they will leave for the money. Yes, we got a Michigan troll in here, I think. I'm sure there's several of them in there. But yeah, no Michigan fan is going to listen to the words that I'm saying and be like, oh yeah, this guy knows something. They're all going to say, he doesn't know anything. Oh, he's just pulling this out of his butt. Oh, whatever they want to say, whatever you got to say to make yourself feel better. I'm sorry you can't accept the truth. But there are several more recruits and several more players on the roster that are not happy with what is going on, that are not happy with the hire. And Michigan is not in a situation to come in and beat a bunch of people out for negotiations. When you bring players, when players come to your school, recruits come to your school because you're the highest offer, what happens when there's a offer that comes in that's higher than what you're willing to do? They're going to leave, man. They're going to leave. I'm not judging any of the players for doing that. That's a different show. I'm just telling you the truth, right? Bryce Underwood came for the money. That's not debatable. That's not a guess, right? Chat, even Michigan fans watching, answer this question. Did Bryce Underwood come to Michigan for the money? Did he? He did, right? So when these other offers come in, he's going to have his eyes drifting in other directions, along with several other recruits, guys. And you'll just see it, man. From the beginning of this, they've always said, they're going to keep a bunch of their players in. I'm telling you right now, Brady McCheese leaving, that kills them. That hurts them. That was a big time flip for them. They already lost a couple of their wide receivers, right? And obviously he was not too thrilled with the coaching hire, and he took his talents elsewhere. There'll be a couple more out of this recruiting class, and there'll be several more on this Michigan roster that part ways, right? Because you also have you think about the culture that's been on this team that these players unfortunately have been surrounded by, right? It's not a good culture, right? The bumping into other, you saw the Marsh kid bump into one of our coaches. You see how they act. You see how they acted on the field. Man, Whittingham's not going to put up with that. Kyle Whittingham is not, I do not foresee him putting up with that crap. So I do not foresee him getting along with all the players. That is a lot, right? That's going to be hard to get out of some of these guys, right? It's going to be hard to change them. They've been so drenched, in it, as well as the coaches that they're trying to keep around. They're used to being around a very volatile boss, a very volatile head coach who just ran the program directly into the ground. And that's what their culture is right now. That's what they're used to. When you have somebody come in that's going to clean house, and I think Kyle is going to clean house. That's the positive thing for them. I think he's going to, keep Michigan in the upper echelon of the Big Ten. I do not think he's going to take them to the promised land by any means. But when that happens, you're going to have players that don't agree with what he does, right? It got reported already that, a couple of the people were talking about a bunch of players from Utah coming over there. Well, it's out there that, right, that's one of the reasons that Utah may have inched Whittingham out a little more, is because the players weren't too fond with what was going on there either. Now, I'm sure that's in every program. You're going to have players that aren't happy or whatnot, but, right, that's just the truth of the matter. This hire does not, it's not the solution. The dominoes are not done falling from this. I do think this was overall a good hire by Michigan for sure, but it's not going to stop the domino effect. When you hire a coach like this who's not going to put up with crap, runs a clean program, you're bringing him in and surrounding him by coaches that have not been running a clean program, the cheating scandal, all the other things going on. And these coaches have been, right, coaching these players that this is okay to do, and they never make any changes. This is one of those changes, and we'll see. I think this is a coach that kind of goes against the philosophy they've had the last 10 years, which is win at all costs. I don't think he's going to play that game. And there might be some tension with some of the higher ups there as well, which is what needs to happen, because until you change, right, the people at the very, very top, the AD, whoever is keeping Ward Manuel around needs to leave. You guys got to get him out of there. That's where the issue is. Whoever's makes the decision to keep those guys around, they got to go. Until that happens, there's always going to be little bits and pieces of that cheating, malicious culture there. But we'll see. I am glad they hired a coach that I think is going to be a positive influence and good to surround these kids with, somebody like him. So we'll see how it goes. I do predict they're not going to be happy with some of the players on their roster to enter the transfer portal. Of course, they will twist it and turn it however they possibly can, badmouth the kids. I mean, that quarterback that left, did you guys see that what's his name, Jaden Davis or something? That quarterback that left, his parents got on X and absolutely reamed a couple of their insiders, talking about how, just horrible they are. Because, right, as soon as he, when he signed the class, they were talking about how good of a quarterback he is. And then now that he left, they're all putting out how bad of a quarterback he is. And, right, as a recruiting insider, when you build relationships with these families, it's not real good to go on there and do that. Sean, yes. I mean, yeah, to act like nobody's leaving is wild. I got a truth for you guys. Even with as well run as Ohio State has ran, if Ryan Day left and we went out and hired Urban Meyer back, we'd probably lose some players we don't want to lose just because of the change. Other teams are going to take advantage of that and come in with offers that some players are not going to overturn. And that's even here with as good as the cultures. That's just what college football is now. Now, when you factor in everything else going on at Michigan, you guys are gonna have a couple players at least that you have on your starting roster next year that are not going to be a part of your team. There's going to be a couple of these recruits still yet to come that are going to ask to be released or simply just enter the transfer portal. And I got some intel on an offensive lineman you guys are very fond of. I'm pretty sure that's about to go down as well. So I'm pretty sure he's about to bounce up out of that class, but we'll see, man. But all right, y'all. Oh, here we go. Hey, Clueless, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Don't know which channel you became a member of, but either way, I appreciate you. Here you are again. Thanks for the $5. I feel that with all the stuff going on in the background, I feel this damages Whittingham's reputation. What are your thoughts? This is why I said the only hire they're going to be able to make is somebody that is their foot's already out the door. Okay, he was the head coach at the same program for what was it, 21 years or something like that. So he's been there for 25 years, something wild. But he was already out the door, man. His reputation is already there. He's not trying to grow his career. He's 66 years old. Okay, coming into a new program, people will point out Coach Sig at Indiana. He's 62. But coming from JMU with what he did and what he's doing now, yeah, if Kyle Whittingham comes in and does what Coach Sig is doing at Indiana, not going to happen. But if he does, right, it'll change some things here. But that's the thing with Whittingham. I don't think it damages his reputation because I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to put up with that stuff. And I don't think he's too concerned about it, honestly. He's not looking to come here and build his career so he can lead, so he can go get a better job somewhere or go to the NFL. I don't foresee that happening, but could be dead wrong. But yeah, any coach that comes there right now puts themselves in a very volatile situation that could potentially ruin their coaching career. Hence, them not being able to get a young up-and-coming coach. Nobody wanted to take that chance, man. And you can't blame them at all. Michigan fans that act like you can blame them. They love Portnoy. That's all I can tell you. Thanks for the $2, Jen Harris. Buckeyes back-to-back national champs. Yes, ma'am, they will be. I love it. Still feeling super excited about that. Still feeling good about what I'm hearing. I did have one thought on that I wanted to bring up is this Ohio State-Miami game, right? A lot of people talking about the Louisville game plan with the tempo and all that stuff, me being one of them. I've heard several other people do it. I do think we need to implement that in our game plan, okay? I do think when we used it this year, we're just at an advantage big time with the athletes that we have. But that being said, we didn't run it that much. There was only 3 weeks. So my point behind this is, chat, you guys can help me sort through this. Us fans in our mind, we have an idea back in there somewhere of how much tempo we want to see, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, so answer this question, guys. What percentage of our offensive plays do you expect to be tempo for the Miami game? Or not that you expect, do you want to see tempo at? Do you want them to go tempo the entire darn game? Do you want to, let me look something up real fast. The average usage of tempo for a college team. I'm not going to do it. I was trying to see, like, what's the average usage of tempo. I should have done that. What, 30% tempo, 70% normal? Yeah, seems like I get talk on. We can't run tempo all game. My point behind bringing this up is, I don't know. Maybe I'm protecting myself here. This isn't some inside information. It's just the thought I have. There's something telling me that we're not going to see as much tempo as we think we're going to see because they've been not running tempo all year long. And Ryan Day, first time on the headset with Julian saying is going to want to coach him through a lot of things. So I do think we see it. I'm just don't get your expectations up too high with us coming out on the first drive and running tempo the entire time, even though that's what I would want. I would want us to come out to a fast start, right? Because if you get up by double digits on this team, up 14 points on this team, the game's over, right? Dang, I forget their quarterback's name already. It's about to pop up in my mind. That's wild, guys. I'm getting old or something. Beck. Yeah. Because when Beck gets himself in a situation where he has to go back and throw the ball to try to get them back in the game, I don't see it working too well for him. Not with this defense, man. Not with these guys. Haven't given up 17 points all season. This secondary. Very good. Thank you, Ernie, for the $4.99. 30-70 gets a lead. Sit on it. Let our defense take over. Yeah, Ernie, that'd be beautiful, man. I would love to see that. I don't know. Do you guys see Ryan Day coming out on the very first drive and tempoing all the way down the field? I just don't know, right? His first time calling plays, taking everything over. I don't know. That's the only thing I wanted to mention there. Monday, I am going to do a show Monday. I'm going to have Jay on for Sports Talk. Jay, he's going to give us his outside perspective take on this game, who he thinks is going to win, what's going to go down there. So it should be a good show. I'll probably hop on tomorrow or Sunday as well, dive into a few more things to talk about, but that's it. Wanted to come on here, talk about the coaching hire, and kind of remind Michigan fans that they might have to find a new quarterback other than Bryce Underwood on the year. They're going to have a hard time keeping him there. They might be able to pull it off, but right, everything going on along with a couple other players and some definitely one more recruit that I know about who is sounding like he's about to go. But we'll see, guys. We'll see if they can turn this thing around, but until they get rid of their AD and whoever kept him around, I think they're going to keep finding themselves in some hot water, and they're going to be digging themselves out of this hole. Okay, chat, how many more years is it going to take Michigan to dig themselves out of the hole that they have put themselves in? Here we go. Thanks for the $5. How sure are you about Bryce Underwood hitting the portal? Not 100%. Nobody can be 100% here. I think as of right now, it's 50-50. I think if you ask anybody else, they're going to tell you, there's a 10 or 20% chance. But, I think right now with everything that's going on, the type of player that he is, right, and just listening to who I am being, the information I am getting, dude, just go listen to Biff's. Go listen to Biff talk in the Texas on that Texas podcast. Go listen to him talk, and you can tell that there's Michigan fans. You guys are going to have a lot of surprises, even with this hire, man. Some, a lot of damage is already done. It just is, and along with everything else that I said. But obviously, the other aspect of this is right. The reason why Bryce Underwood would stay is because I'm not sure how hot of a commodity he is now. You know what I mean? Like, let me ask you guys this. Do you think he was more wanted as a recruit or right now? Do you think he got higher offers as a recruit? Do you think somebody would offer Bryce Underwood? Let's see, if Michigan's paying him $4 million a year, do you think somebody would also offer Bryce Underwood $4.5, $5 million a year to go to their program right now? No, it's not going to happen. Show me what he did on the field. Why people keep putting recruit in there? Yeah, show me what he did to make teams like come after him. So that's the other aspect of it that I think might come into play here. But we'll see, man. We'll see. We are focused on Miami, the Cotton Bowl, moving on for another back-to-back season. Our enemies to the north just got their head coach. Not too big of a splash. Pretty good hire, though. Better than what I thought they were going to do. So we shall see. But I will see you guys this weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday with Sports Talk J. Don't forget, guys, hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button as well. Both channels, the Buckeye Boys and Buckeye Scoop. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. It's fast, it's easy, and it helps us tremendously. If you are not a part of the Scoop message board, I'll tell you guys again, like I always tell you, it's not a sales pitch. I'm a huge Ohio State fan. If you're listening to this podcast, you're a huge Ohio State fan as well. It's fun over there, man. Helping Technician put out another good nugget today on this team. We got to see some sights from inside the practice. Buckeyes hot and heavy on the field today, so got some intel coming out of that as well. We'll talk about this weekend and on Monday. Appreciate your all super chats. Appreciate everything that you guys do. I love you guys. Go Buckeyes. OH. Listen, I lied. I'm not done because I got this for Christmas and I had to show you guys. Look at this 3D rendering of the horseshoe. Isn't that thing sweet, dude? My little brother got me this. I'm stoked. I love this thing. All right. Now it's bedtime. Night night.